Alright guys, welcome to another Battle Tanks League commentary video. We're going to start off with weaponh, who immediately teleported into the middle as a tinker. He's going to try to set up his rocket towers there. And he does have the support already of Alrion, who is going a mine opener. So he has the scout. The scout has the creep cannon that does extra DPS and range. So he will have a little bit of farm. And instead of getting a weapon, he's going to get mines. So let's see how this works out for him. As long as the Dark Force is disciplined and they pay attention to where he is dropping the mines, and they can even use Marquez's reactive armor in the right moments, they will be able to win this matchup in the middle. However, if they are not careful, they can feed Alrion. Mines is definitely not a meta build, definitely not an optimal build, but it can work at times, and it is very interesting, so fun to see Alrion doing that. And then accompanying weaponh and Alrion is WildPants, who is in a light tank with a light cannon, pretty standard build. They're going up against tschepetto, who is in a helicopter with a light cannon, Staycool, who is in a helicopter with a light plasma gun. Really the only difference between the light cannon and the light plasma gun is that the light plasma gun has 950 range compared to the light cannon's 1000. I think most players, including myself, prefer the 1000 range. The extra DPS you get from the 950 range weapon is pretty negligible in the early game, but the extra 50 range actually can be noticeable when you're positioning yourself carefully. It can oftentimes allow you in the middle to get the first volley off in a fight. Alrion trying to place another mine, it looks like. Looks like he's already placed two. I'm not sure where the second one is, or maybe the first one just hasn't come off of cooldown. No, he has this mine right here. That's pretty cheeky. So let's see if that one goes off on anybody. Anyways, Marquez is the final player for the Dark Force in the middle. He is a distributor with a basic magic, and he might become a very important player in countering these mines, as he does have the reactive armor ability, which causes one instance of enemy damage to heal yourself or an allied tank that is selected instead of damaging them. So if he's able to time that properly, they can actually use Alrion's mines to heal themselves, or at the very least clear them away safely. Alrion placing a third mine. We'll see if any of them also invest in a detector at any point. 200 gold, but it might be worth it if it saves one or two people from dying. And then, of course, somebody can buy a remote fuse and actually manually detonate the mines, even when Alrion himself or an ally is on top of them, so they can farm kills that way. So far, no kills from the mines out of Alrion. We'll see if it ever happens. On the top, we have an anti-grav mirror. We have EMZE for the Dark Force with a basic magic on his anti-grav, and then SHYMASTORM with a basic magic on his. Looks like they're pretty evenly leveled so far. They'll probably stay in a stalemate. I think both of these players are relatively evenly matched on the lane. I'm not sure, though. Pelmiene is a very good player. He's in a scout for the Dark Force, and the scout, especially with the electro cannon and the creep cannon, does have a lot of early game DPS at long range, which is why Pelmiene is able to push his Dark Force creep waves into the rocket tower of Tistiris. So Tistiris is going to lose some farm compared to Pelmiene because of that. So Pelmiene is already level 4 and Tistiris is only level 3.7. We'll see if Tistiris can make it to 5 minutes and get a second weapon on that anti-grav and start putting some pressure on Pelmiene, because right now Pelmiene can pretty safely sit in this strategic location, enjoy the healing, grab this healer when necessary, use his E ability, the healing ability, when necessary as well. Alrion just got a kill, and it looks like it was a mine. So Marquez running into a mine. He does have a detector there, so and that detector just died because Alrion actually has his own watchtower as a scout that can see invisible units. So Marquez actually wasted 200 gold there, and he died to the mine anyway. So definitely a suboptimal play, but at the very least, this Dark Force should know of the presence of this mine here. Alrion placing a second mine by this gold mine. That's going to be a very good trap for one of these helicopters if they decide to fly over it, or if they're fleeing from a fight. Let's see if they can get the kill on WildPants. Not quite. Pelmiene continuing to push Tistiris, who is finally level 4, so he can at least get the level 2 tank cannon and get an extra 60 DPS. But Pelmiene at level 4, I think the scout tooltip doesn't show the DPS properly. I think his DPS is more like 350 right now. Not 470, but it is still significantly more than the anti-grav's 230, and it does it at longer range. So Pelmiene already level 5, Tistiris level 4.3. Pelmiene will get a farming advantage in this matchup, and we'll expect him to probably change tank at some point and really put pressure on this rocket tower here. Tistiris does come out at 5 minutes with a second basic magic. That should help him get some space, and he does have his own tech mech that can bring him additional weapons when needed. Alrion does have one more mine, and he's going to place it pretty aggressively. Let's see if he can get a kill. Neither of these helicopters have a hole yet, so both of them will die to a single shot of the mine, and instead they actually get Marquez, who is the higher health tank, but Marquez was only at about 2/3 damage. Tistiris actually just got a kill on Pelmiene, and he's going to reach level 5. A very good play by him, and Pelmiene will probably have to get a hole. Probably has the gold for it already. At the very least, he should be able to get a tech mech. Instead, he's going to get a helicopter. So he's going to do that instead of sticking with the scout, but he does have an electro cannon on top of that helicopter, and those synergize pretty well together. Alrion placing another watchtower, trying to get detection of this detector here. Let's see if they can get the kill on it. The watchtower itself can actually target Staycool's detector, so maybe Alrion has just set it to target it. Staycool barely surviving despite getting hit by the triple rockets, and then WildPants is trying to be getting fired at by tschepetto, but unable to die as well, or able to escape. SHYMASTORM and EMZE still battling it out at the top. SHYMASTORM's playing pretty aggressively. He does need to be careful, because EMZE can heal and use his jump on him. Instead, EMZE is the one to jump back to the command post, so SHYMASTORM is pretty safe for now, but he will have to go back and heal at some point, because he cannot take on EMZE with EMZE at 80 health and him at 33% health. Alrion just gets another kill. It looks like 2 mines go off, and they do kill tschepetto. So both of those mines are out, so maybe he'll start stocking up mines there again, or maybe he'll continue placing mines at this location here. He's about 10 seconds away from getting another mine, and it looks like he is in position to maybe put one more over here, or maybe he'll try to double them up. Staycool takes an energy torpedo shot from Weapon H. Weapon H with the energy torpedo upgrade hasn't been really a factor in this mid-game, apart from being able to set up a very good tower position here. Alrion placing another detecting watchtower, and you can see he is manually targeting the detector with it, though it is going to go down before it can get the last shot off, so they do have this detector remaining up, and I don't know if, I think the detector has 1,000 range, and I think it can see this mine here. WildPants goes down to a combination of triple rockets from Staycool and tschepetto. Looks like EMZE has bought a light cannon for his anti-grav. That should give him a slight advantage over SHYMASTORM, though SHYMASTORM is almost about to get a third basic magic if he wants to. So SHYMASTORM actually has a pretty significant farm advantage over EMZE. Now he gets that third basic magic, if he can pick it up, and he is almost full level ahead of EMZE. Meanwhile, Pelmiene is actually only about half a level ahead of Tistiris. Tistiris doing a decent job of holding his own against Pelmiene, who again did start out as a scout. SHYMASTORM getting another kill on EMZE. That will exacerbate his lead. He is almost level 7, so he will get a level 3 tank cannon, and he will have a significant DPS advantage over EMZE at that point. So he will force EMZE back to his command post. tschepetto playing pretty aggressively, trying to go after Alrion with those triple rockets. Let's see if he runs into any of these mines here. Takes some fire from Weapon H. He's going to have to back off to not be fired upon by the light force creeps, and he actually avoids the mines for now. He might run into one of Alrion's mines, and he does. Alrion with 4 kills out of these mines already, so they have been paying for themselves pretty effectively, and Alrion farming up 3,500 gold at the 9-minute mark. So let's see if he comes out with an early heavy tank or something, or if he might just try to get a good weapon. Something like a fire torpedo would scale very effectively into the mid-game. Alrion placing a third mine in this location, though the Dark Force is aware of the presence of mines in this location, and SHYMASTORM gets yet another kill on EMZE. So he is winning this matchup up top so far, but he hasn't run away with it yet. EMZE can still turn it around with disciplined play. Pelmiene, meanwhile, has a hole on his helicopter, And he might save up for a second weapon before getting a tank, or maybe getting a repair kit and then delaying his tank. You can see he's trying to take advantage of this strategic location as much as possible to maintain pressure on Tistiris. Again, the goal right now for Pelmiene is to either farm Tistiris or to at least push his creep waves into the tower of Tistiris so that he can exacerbate his gold and experience lead. In fact, you even saw him drop his hull briefly so that he could heal a little bit faster as a percentage from that strategic location, which gives a flat 15 hit points per second. WildPants does have a second weapon, and it's a light cannon on his light tank. So actually this light force is being very aggressive with their choice of inventory. None of them have holes except for Weapon H, who is the Tinker, who would otherwise have 254 hit points without the hull. But WildPants probably should get a hull at this point. It's impressive that he's been able to survive with just 2 deaths. Alrion's presence with these mines is really forcing tschepetto and company to play very carefully, and because of that, and also because of Weapon H's towers that WildPants can hide amongst, they are able to play pretty aggressively with their build orders right now. Alrion trying to scan for detectors yet again. Tschepetto does have a hole, Staycool doesn't have a hole yet, and neither does Marquez. They are aware of Alrion's mines in this location. Alrion does have 3 of them, though, so if any of these tanks run into, for example, this spot, they will die. Trying to go after Alrion with a triple rocket, but Weapon H's energy torpedo forces them to back off, and Alrion doubles up his mine right here. Again, one of the interesting things about the inventory mines compared to the demolisher mines is that they do not cost mana. If you are ever up against a demolisher, this is more common in the lane, but you can pay attention to it in the middle if you are good at paying attention. Anytime you see the demolisher's mana go down without any obvious ability going off, you can tell that they've laid a mine in that location. And if you keep track of where the mines are, especially if you're on the lane, you can carefully run into them one by one and just kind of negate the demolisher's mine ability that way. It's a pretty effective strategy at countering the demolisher and leaving them with only one really effective ability, either the shockwave or the artillery shot, compared to your tank, which will likely have 2 or 3 useful abilities. In the middle, it's a little bit more tricky because it's hard to keep track of 3 different tanks and all of the mine locations, but it is possible. Alrion once again scanning for detectors here, and he places a 3rd mine. So this is a pretty big death trap. Let's see if it comes into play at any point. This Dark Force middle is unable to play very aggressively so far, and so they might not push that far until they get a little bit stronger tanks with holes. Marquez can, of course, if he knows the location of a mine, he can use the reactive armor on himself or an ally and have them run into a mine, clear one out, and maybe even heal from it. As of yet, they haven't been able to do that. Pelmiene continuing to push Tistiris, but now SHYMASTORM's going to hop in and try to get a jump on him. Tistiris also hops, and it's failed. Pelmiene is able to run out of the way with that extra speed of the helicopter. WildPants does need to be careful. He has a hole, so that's why he doesn't die right there. And again, dropping the hole, using the healing ability of the light tank, and he is back to full health, so he can continue to maintain pressure. Alrion does have to be careful. He is still at only 600 hit points. He has the swarm rockets on his scout, which is a very effective weapon, and he might change tanks soon. He could definitely get a medivac and continue to plant mines, or he might just stick with the scout and get an iron hull that he can eventually upgrade to a kinetic shield in the middle. Either of those are good plays. Alrion does have this pretty aggressive mine. Marquez might run into it soon. Can WildPants be in position to follow up with it? Yeah. Marquez is forced back. EMZE and SHYMASTORM continuing to battle it out. SHYMASTORM's trying to stun EMZE, who jumps back into his command post. Alrion about 12 seconds away from another mine. Let's see if he can double up the mines at this location here. WildPants takes 2 triple rockets into heat-seeking missiles. He's going to go down. Can they get Marquez? No, not quite. Kill for the Dark Force there. SHYMASTORM misses EMZE with his plasma discharge and is forced to jump out of the way. Alrion does double up his mines right here. So now any of these tanks would go down. Actually, in fact, Staycool goes down with a single mine. And let's see if he runs into any of these mines here. If he goes forward a little bit more. SHYMASTORM jumping onto EMZE again. Let's see if he can get the kill. He uses the plasma discharge. EMZE one volley away from dying, but he's able to escape into his command post. And now SHYMASTORM's going to have to be a little bit careful lest he take too many shots from EMZE. EMZE gets the EMP torpedoes on him, and now SHYMASTORM's in a pretty tough position. He does have his jump recharged. Let's see if EMZE can jump on him. He's not going to try it. So SHYMASTORM is able to get away with that one. Looks like Alrion had one mine go off. Didn't get any kills out of it, though. He's going to double it up, though. Alrion still with 5 kills, 0 deaths out of a mine opener, so that was successful for him. I did try mines in a league game once, and in fact it was against Alrion, and he was a tinker to start out with. He immediately switched to a scout and began detecting my mines, and he even bought a diffuser on his scout and started diffusing them. Ended up being kind of a dud build for me, and I ended up falling behind really far that game, but Alrion has been having a lot of success for it because none of these 3 tanks have been able to effectively counter it. They can try to get detectors, but Alrion can just detect those detectors with his own scout tower. Tistiris trying to probably get a new tank if he's going to teleport back to the base. It is 15 minutes into the game, and he'll probably get a thunder tank. He is a little bit starved for gold. He sells a basic magic to try to teleport in. He's going to bring that tech mech to the junkyard and buy it back. 2 mines go off from Alrion. I wonder if somebody has a diffuser, because those mines aren't really doing any killing anymore. Or maybe Marquez is using his reactive armor cleverly. So good for the Dark Force. They have not been dying from Alrion's aggressive mines in this location, so maybe Alrion will just start to mess up the mines a little bit further back and play it a bit more safe. Try to get mid kills in the mid game. SHYMASTORM maintaining his level advantage over EMZE, more than a full level ahead. And if he's able to reach level 10, he will be able to kill EMZE pretty much anytime he wants, one-on-one. So EMZE will be forced to play back inside of his own command post. We did see the Dark Force get one more kill in the middle. I think the tschepetto got a kill on Weapon H. Weapon H, how much gold does he have? 4,700 gold. So he'll probably be able to save for an Earth tank at 20 minutes. Or maybe even a Hunter at 25. Alrion might be the one to go with the Hunter, however. And then WildPants saving up a modest amount of gold as well. Pelmiene gets a kill. He has a repair kit, and he actually didn't even need to use it. But that repair kit will at least allow him to maintain pressure on this tower here. Being able to heal up 20 or 2,000 hit points every 50 seconds. Kill on Alrion. And Marquez actually uses his reflective armor to take out a mine, and then tschepetto is trying to pursue Weapon H. He does die, but Marquez is able to get WildPants, and now there's only 3 mines in this location. So Marquez was aware that Alrion was planting mines here, and he did cleverly use the reactive armor to take one of them out, and it ended up in a favorable trade for his team. Tistiris, being in the Thunder tank, is still getting pressured by Pelmiene. Pelmiene does have that repair kit up his sleeve if he takes too much damage at once. And he's going to continue to exacerbate his level lead. Let's see if SHYMASTORM hops in. He does, and Pelmiene gets stunned. He's probably going to go down, gets phased out, and now he's going to get stunned by an EMP torpedo if SHYMASTORM has one. And despite his repair, he goes down, so an excellent gank there by Tistiris and SHYMASTORM. And Pelmiene needs to be much more careful from now on, though SHYMASTORM probably can't do that for another couple of minutes because his tower did take a lot of damage from EMZE, so he'll need to make sure that that tower is repaired before he attempts any more ganks. They're going to try to go after Alrion again, who does have a hole. Weapon H does go down. tschepetto has a Thunder tank. That's how he was able to clear him out. And then Alrion got a kill on Staycool, meanwhile. They're trying to go after Marquez. Tistiris comes in from the bottom lane. And multiple thunderstorms going off. These are going to be effective at clearing out Weapon H's towers. EMZE, how close is he to level 10? He is not that close, only level 9.3, 9.4-ish for being generous. So he's not that useful yet. Once he reaches level 10, he can be effective at ganking in this middle here. And it looks like they're going to clear out Weapon H's tower. So Weapon H probably needs to get an Earth Robot or something at 20 minutes. He does have enough gold for it, so that's probably what he'll do. SHYMASTORM going after EMZE. EMZE does have the space to jump into the command post. And now they're going to get another kill on WildPants. And let's see if they run into these mines of Alrion. Alrion trying to stay in position, and he gets a kill on Staycool with a single mine. I wonder if Staycool still is running around without a hole. I'll have to check his inventory, but a single mine went off and got the kill. So that's actually very cost-effective for Alrion. And he might even get a fleeing tschepetto if tschepetto detours from his just normal path of fleeing. Trying to go after WildPants again. Can Marquez get the last volley? He can, but he is going to pay for it with his life, and Weapon H does get an Earth Robot. So that will allow him to maintain the more aggressive position and will allow Alrion to continue massing up mines. Alrion has one more mine ready, and he gets a kill on tschepetto, who runs into 3 of those mines. So Alrion's going to now have 2 in this location. Staycool still doesn't have a hole, so he really needs to get a tank because, again, with 936 hit points, a single mine takes him out. And while these 3 tanks aren't really threatening to him, except for WildPants, especially once he gets to level 10, he does need to be very careful about running into mines, and so does Pelmiene. Pelmiene might not be aware of the mine locations, and in fact, Alrion, I think that was very clever. He manually discharged the second mine, and even though it didn't deal full damage to Pelmiene, its blast radius was enough to eliminate the last couple of hundred of hit points of Pelmiene. So Alrion gets 1 more kill with these mines. Alrion at 9 kills in 20 minutes with a mine build, so he has definitely been having success with that this game. SHYMASTORM trying to deal damage to this rocket tower of EMZE. EMZE is trying to get a gank on Tistiris along with Pelmiene and tschepetto. They are unable to do so, and SHYMASTORM is going to get a lot of free damage off on this tower. Not quite enough to kill it, so EMZE will be able to repair this. But he does have to be careful before he attempts another gank. Meanwhile, they're trying to gank SHYMASTORM, and they will be able to. tschepetto and EMZE teaming up. Alrion, how much gold does he have? 6,000. He'll be able to definitely get a hunter or something at 25 minutes if he wants to continue saving up. He probably won't be safe for him to do so. Marquez will probably get a tank soon. Staycool really needs to get a tank soon. Looks like he does not even have a hole, but he does have 6,000 gold. He really needs to get a tank. Alrion tries to net tschepetto, but tschepetto is a little bit too far away for the light force to follow it up. And SHYMASTORM coming in from the side, trying to get the kill on EMZE. He is going to be able to consistently harass this tower with Flame Strike. Marquez comes in, tries to get a bunch of heat-seeking missiles off, and then SHYMASTORM able to claim a healer to just barely escape that situation there. So he will continue to put pressure on EMZE's tower. Let's see if he can get the kill on it. EMZE does switch to a ghost tank, which is a good tank, and Tistiris gets a kill on Pelmiene meanwhile. EMZE is skilled at this tank, but the ghost tank in 9.21 was significantly nerfed because teams can no longer mass armor upgrades. You can only get 2 armor upgrades more than what your opposing team has. Can Weapon H get an earthquake off on Marquez? I'm surprised it didn't happen. Marquez or WildPants was able to at least get a kill, and then Marquez actually got a kill on Staycool. Staycool once again without a hole, and so he takes the energy torpedo upgrade shot from Weapon H, and that does about 3/4 of his health, about 2/3 of his health, I mean. So I think Staycool was trying to get a good tank, but honestly, I think he would have been better off getting an iron hole, even if that would have delayed his tank by about 800, 900 gold. It would have probably prevented 2 or 3 deaths from him. Tistiris going after Pelmiene. Pelmiene does use a repair, and they kill each other. Very close fight between them. Somebody gets a kill on Alrion. WildPants tries to triple rocket Marquez, but Marquez uses the reactive armor on himself. And now WildPants is in a little bit of a tough spot. Gets lightninged by tschepetto, but he is able to escape. And then Staycool does need to be careful of these mines from Alrion right here. He really, really just needs to get a tank. I don't know what his plan is exactly. And then EMZE has been doing a good job of keeping SHYMASTORM away from this tower. He does need to repair it with the tech mech, though. And Alrion's going to change tank to a Goblin Brawler. Goblin Brawler is my personal favorite tank. As I mentioned in my last commentary, it was nerfed a little bit. The plasma shields no longer heal 800 hit points at level 1. It used to be that they healed 800 hit points at level 1, and then each additional level that you spec'd on it increased the healing by 200. Now they only start at 300 hit points. Alrion with a terrible R completely misses everybody there. Weapon H with an excellent Earthquake, though they still might get a kill on Marquez. If they get a lucky Energy Torpedo Volley, Weapon H does have to duck out of the way. As I was mentioning, the Goblin Brawler at level 1, the plasma shields only give 300 health, and so you really need to skill them to level 2 or level 3. They at the very least increase by 300 per level instead of 200 per level. So at level 2 it's 600, at level 3 it's 900 health that they heal, but now they're still a useful ability, but you have to invest 2 or 3 skill points in them rather than just being able to get a single skill point and then investing all of your other points in the charge or the explosive brew. Wonder where Alrion is going, trying to go after Staycool, it looks like. If he can hit Staycool with either of his abilities, he can get a kill, and actually he hits him with the explosive brew, so Staycool really hurting without that hole. Only 1 kill and 5 deaths. Marquez comes out with a Goblin Brawler of his own, hits the Earth Robot Weapon H with his R ability, but now he's a little bit vulnerable. He gets stunned, and now he gets charged, and he has the R of Alrion on him. WildPants does go down from somewhere. I didn't quite see what happened, but they are trying to lock down this tank factory here. I guess that's where Staycool is trying to go. They might force him to get a suboptimal tank. He can sell his weapons and even get something like a Hunter if he just teleported to this command post here. But I wonder if he was trying to get something out of this market here. Maybe a Goblin Wrecker or a Darkness tank, and they are preventing him from doing so. Pelmiene does come out with a Demon Tank. That's an excellent choice of tank in the lane because it's useful in the lane, but it's also useful ganking in the middle. Alrion's really trying to lock down this tank construction hall here. And EMZE still hasn't repaired this rocket tower at all. At least it has a repair module on it from somebody. I wonder if Pelmiene was the one who planted that. For anybody who's curious why that happens, if you change tank to a Tinker while you're in the base, you can teleport here, place a repair module on this tower, and then you just teleport to the tank construction hall and buy your tank, rather than walking your original tank to the tank construction hall and then buying the Tinker and immediately changing it out. It does cost 75 extra gold because you have to make 1 more control point teleport, but it can be worth it because you are able to put a oftentimes level 4 or sometimes even level 5 repair module on one of these towers. WildPants is going to tank up, probably sell his hole in 1 weapon, and I thought he was going to get a Hunter, but instead he gets a Sky Tank. This is going to be a little bit tricky for this Light Force middle as they have no tanks with a direct stun ability. And so all 3 of these tanks do really well when an opponent is already immobilized, but they do poorly actually catching opponents and immobilizing them in the first place. And so if they had somebody with a stun, even like a Demon Tank or a Frost Robot would obviously be very ambitious, but they could stun somebody. Alrion could put his R on him, put the Explosive Brew on him, and also Weapon H could use the Earthquake to deal damage and prevent them from fleeing. As it is, they're going to be very potent in fights that are already happening, or command post fights where the position is pretty controlled, but in just open middle fights, they might struggle to initiate engagements. Meanwhile, the Dark Force does have a stun in the form of tschepetto's Lightning Strike, and so Staycool and Marquez can follow that up with their own abilities. And so while the Light Force does have overall more expensive and more powerful tanks, I think the Dark Force does have a pretty good combination of abilities if they use them properly. Alrion trying to trap Marquez with the Explosive Brew. He does land it well, but it is not going to deal enough damage to really do much to Marquez. Weapon H has to be careful lest he take an R from Marquez, which would deal damage to him if he tried to flee. And what's going up top here? Trying to go after SHYMASTORM, it looks like. SHYMASTORM still hasn't taken down this rocket tower of EMZE's. WildPants does get an excellent flame strike on Marquez's tech mech here. And they actually killed this middle tower. That's very impressive and very concerning if you're the Dark Force, because now this middle command post is vulnerable if they ever get caught in a situation where they're trying to chase SHYMASTORM or Tistiris too much. The Light Force has been winning this game, largely due to the middle's inability to counter Alrion's mines and SHYMASTORM winning the matchup on EMZE. So they are ahead 25 kills to 14. And they do have more powerful tanks in this mid-game. Weaponh has to be careful. He has Marquez's R on him, so he will take damage if he tries to flee. Staycool really trying to go after him, unable to finish him off, and so Marquez is able to reach, or Weaponh is able to reach the healer. Marquez trying to save himself with the plasma shield, and tschepetto wards off WildPants. They might actually get a kill, except Tistiris teleports in, able to barely save WildPants, who survives with about 100 hit points. And now they're going to try to take this middle. Tistiris in there with a plasma shield and a tower. I doubt he's going to be there because I doubt he's going to succeed. Alrion isn't really committing to this. He's probably just going to let Tistiris die and them lose the tower. So not the best time to try to take the middle. But this Dark Force does have to be very careful from now on, and they might start playing a very defensive camping style. Pelmiene gets a lava shot on Weaponh, who had already used his tunneling ability, and now he's taking damage from the Marquez's Brawler R. I need to learn the name of the ability since I mention it so much. Staycool needs to tunnel out of the way himself, and he doesn't, so WildPants gets the finishing blow. Tistiris does have that teleport and the kinetic shield. Doesn't have that much DPS, but actually he does have the Electro Aura in addition to his tank cannon, so he has almost 800 DPS, despite only having 3 basic magics. For comparison, Pelmiene does have only 474 DPS, but he has a much more powerful tank, and now tschepetto is going to teleport on top of Tistiris, and Tistiris doesn't even need to teleport out of the way himself. He gets the kill on tschepetto, and that was a complete fail of a gank there. Had he coordinated it properly with Pelmiene, Pelmiene could have come in with his own lava shot and just kept Tistiris stunned and probably killed him before he could deal enough damage to tschepetto to kill the tschepetto, but instead tschepetto was the one to go down. Marquez with another Brawler R hits both Weaponh and Alrion, who both flee back a little bit. WildPants is a little bit vulnerable. I wonder if any of the Dark Force is going to get nets at any point. Staycool taking a lot of damage from Alrion's Goblin Brawler R, barely able to survive and get into his command post. Yeah, if I'm tschepetto or Marquez or even Staycool, any of these three, I would definitely invest in nets, at least one of them. You can save your own skin, or you can get kills on WildPants. Also, SHYMASTORM, if SHYMASTORM were to ever join a fight. So nets is definitely a valuable investment. You don't see it often enough, in my opinion, in these league games. Trying to get a gank on EMZE. This tower is repaired all the way, so somebody did bring their tech mech in, and Tistiris does need to be careful. Does Pelmiene have a lava shot in him? He doesn't need it. He uses the lava shot on SHYMASTORM, who doesn't have any ability to flee, and SHYMASTORM gets banished now. Let's see if they can chase him down properly. SHYMASTORM's probably calling for help. WildPants is going to hop in, and he's going to ward them off. SHYMASTORM able to get back to his command post in time. Alrion trying to clear out some creeps with the Explosive Brew. It's actually one of the least effective abilities at clearing out troops because it doesn't deal much damage. And the damage it does do drops off significantly if it's not centered. WildPants gets stunned. Can he get an R on him? He does, so that's going to prevent him from fleeing, but he'll just sit in this kinetic shield and not die. Marquez trying to go after him, but Alrion and Weaponh are going to force him to stay away. Weaponh with a lightning magic on his Earth Robot. That's a powerful weapon. So he'll be able to buy back his other weapons and to become a pretty potent force in just an all-out fight. And Pelmiene, despite being in the Demon Tank, hasn't been able to do much around the map. I wonder if he'd be better off. He has gotten 1 speed, but I wonder if he'd be better off trying to maybe sell this Electro Cannon, get a quick teleport, and help out in this middle, or try to get ganks on SHYMASTORM. He does have the Demon Tank Banish ability, which is excellent at killing SHYMASTORM, and SHYMASTORM doesn't have a teleport, and so in fact tschepetto is going to be the one to teleport in on him. And Tistiris actually counters, getting 2 kills, so the Light Force gets 2 for 1 there. And again, Pelmiene could have gotten the teleport and could have swung that fight, but he hasn't been able to do that much. I wonder what WildPants is doing here. He's trying to go after somebody's tech mech. It's EMZE's tech mech, and he does get the kill. So that tech mech is that's going to force EMZE to sell or to pay for it in terms of 350 gold, probably another 75 for a teleport, and then WildPants gets about 100 for that. So that's about a 525 gold swing to the Light Force, which is basically a kill at this point. So worthwhile detour for WildPants there. Trying to go after tschepetto, who does have a teleport if he needs to. He will take damage from Alrion if he does it because of the R ability, and now they're going to go after WildPants. Pelmiene does get the banish off in the Hail Implosion, and they do get one kill. And they're still trying to deal damage to Alrion here. Staycool is also present. Alrion does have these mines, but Pelmiene does get the explosive brew off, and he's able to kill Alrion. And then Marquez just clears out these mines. The Goblin Brawler does have about 10,000 hit points, so he can pretty effectively clear them out. And Marquez is confident at this point that there are no mines in this location, though the small wild card is still this cluster here of 3 mines, unless Staycool runs into them right now. Almost. If the Dark Force is in the middle of the fight and there's somebody with low hit points that runs into these, it could give Alrion a kill. I think what I can do is the next time somebody gets hit with the Goblin Brawler R, I can try to click on them and look at their status just to remember the name of the ability. That way I can refer to it as its actual thing, Plasma Discharge. Wait, what's the anti-grav thing? I think I've been calling the anti-grav Q ability the Plasma Discharge, but I will call the Brawler R Plasma Discharge from now on. Cool. SHYMASTORM does have a teleport breaker. He doesn't have a teleport of his own, but this breaker should keep him pretty safe from ganks. It might even net him a kill or two. Meanwhile, Pelmiene going after Tistiris, who saves himself with a kinetic shield. He does still have the teleport, and he's going to use it to get out. EMZE has been able to repair this tower fully. He did lose his tech mech from it, though, due to WildPants. They're putting some pressure on the middle here. Staycool hit with Alrion's Plasma Discharge. Now Alrion gets hit with Marquez's, and Weapon H might go down. He doesn't have a Plasma Discharge on him, so he takes a Kinetic Shield from WildPants that actually doesn't tank much, but he gets a Plasma Shield from Alrion, and Alrion actually gets a kill on tschepetto meanwhile, and Weapon H is able to escape. And then Pelmiene aims an excellent lava shot into WildPants, who gets saved barely by Alrion's Plasma Shield, but he still goes down. And now Alrion is going to be forced to flee out of the way. It's going up on top. EMZE does have Mortar Team spawned. He's going to teleport into the middle, not quite get the kill on the top rocket tower. Survives with about 25% health, but one more push from EMZE, and he will be able to get the kill on it. Tistiris is really wandering around outside of where he should be, trying to get just a lot of the Dark Force creeps here. And now he does have time to detour into the middle. WildPants takes a Plasma Discharge, but smartly just stays put so that he doesn't take damage. And then Alrion finishes off Marquez, even gets the Plasma Discharge on tschepetto, who is forced to flee to his own command post. Pelmiene's going to come in. Whom is he going to lava shot? If he can get to Tistiris. Tistiris has a teleport of his own, so he might not be the best target. Pelmiene's going to stay put for now. And they're going to go after SHYMASTORM. He did have that teleport breaker planted, and he might get a kill on Pelmiene. Pelmiene takes a Plasma Shield from Marquez. And Marquez trying to hit the SHYMASTORM's tech mech with the explosive blue brew. It's not going to be enough. And then Tistiris really going after EMZE. He's going to aggressively teleport. And let's see if he can get out of there. Alrion is there to save him. And Alrion helps Tistiris get the kill. And tschepetto and Pelmiene know they can't teleport in because SHYMASTORM does have that teleport breaker, so that's 2 kills for the Light Force there. Up 36 to 24, so maintaining a slight lead over the Dark Force, though they haven't really been increasing it. SHYMASTORM gets hit by Pelmiene's lava shot and the banish, and somebody has a net at this point. tschepetto has nets. Very smart of him. They're able to get 1 kill, and then tschepetto teleports while trying to flee into SHYMASTORM's teleport breaker, but he's still able to get out of there. Alrion by himself isn't enough to take on 4 people. And they might try to put pressure on this rocket tower here. This rocket tower does have the repair module, and people can bring tech mechs in to repair it. SHYMASTORM's teleport breaker is expired. Marquez misses Alrion with the plasma discharge. Alrion does not miss his, and now he gets the explosive brew, but Marquez dodges it. But he tries to charge out of the way, and he takes enough damage from the plasma discharge while charging that he goes down. Staycool trying to farm the middle. Weapon H getting these towers. Weapon H has significantly more DPS than Staycool does, so he is pushing the creep waves in. And then SHYMASTORM able to get a kill on EMZE. When that artillery is set to ground mode, it's hard to hide inside of your own command post because the artillery in ground mode will actually ignore the tower. And now this tower itself is going to go down. Marquez gets 2 people in that plasma discharge. Let's see if anybody has a net launcher. I think they tried to use it on SHYMASTORM, who teleports out of the way. And Staycool is actually the one to go down in that exchange. So the Light Force continuing to get good trades. And let's see if Weapon H can get out of this predicament here. Gets slowed down a little bit by EMZE and redirected backwards by Marquez, but he is still able to flee. Light Force is starting to put a lot of pressure on both the top and the middle, and so the Dark Force is forced to spend gold on barricades and other defensive buildings, and now they're going to go after the middle. We have WildPants present, we have Tistiris present. Let's see if anybody's close enough to teleport in, while Weapon H is a little bit far away, but they're going to teleport everybody. Let's see if they're putting pressure on the top. Meanwhile, Alrion is not enough to put pressure, but they do get a 1-to-1 trade, and now WildPants gets one more kill with this tower, and let's see if Weapon H can finish off EMZE. Not quite, and so Weapon H is going to go down, but now they're taking this top command post. Alrion is there. This barricade is going to be too much for him, so Alrion goes back. And a good attempt, maybe 1 or 2 more tries in a concerted effort, and they can get a command post. Especially if they get this middle one, that's really going to swing the game. But even if they're just consistently applying pressure and still getting good trades, but forcing the Dark Force to buy defensive buildings, they're going to increase their net worth, and they can even kill these buildings and get a small amount of bounty too. They're trying to go after SHYMASTORM again. They do net him. Does Pelmiene have a lava shot in him? SHYMASTORM's going to teleport out of the way. He actually gets a kill on EMZE along with Alrion. Alrion using his plasma discharge yet again productively. And they're forced to build another barricade, this time in the middle. It's from Marquez. I think the barricade costs 500, so those do add up if you're forcing the other team to buy barricades a lot. And Tistiris dodges Pelmiene's lava shot, and now they don't have the lava shot to defend this top here. EMZE's going to go down. Pelmiene's got to be a little bit careful, but so does WildPants. WildPants taking a few abilities, and now Alrion's trying to take the bottom. Let's see if the top can distract them for long enough. They might even be able to kill Marquez and take the top. SHYMASTORM continuing to deal damage despite being at low health. Alrion takes this bottom command post. They're going to take the top, and they're even present in the middle. Weapon H is going to be forced to get back, so at this point, all the Dark Force has is the middle, and the tower is down, so they're forced to build defensive buildings. They do get a kill on Weapon H. I guess he didn't have his tunnel anymore, so EMZE did slow him down sufficiently to get the kill. And they're going to try to just farm the rocket towers here. They do need to be careful if 3 or 4 of them are pushing towers. They might lose the tower here in the middle to a concerted push. And it looks like the Dark Force gave up. So, yeah, Light Force, pretty quick game, quick win, 42 minutes. That's actually very quick. So, the Light Force just had a much better combination of tanks. Alrion got a very, very good lead early in the game with the mines, and he did a very good job of discouraging the Dark Force from planting detectors by putting down scout towers of his own. And so the Light Force just carried that lead into the mid-game, and this ended up being a very quick game. So I'll commentate maybe another one of these today, definitely soon. It's always fun for me to do this. So Titan Music out.